Good morning. We're going to have some fun today. How are you doing? I hope you're fine, and I hope things are starting to get a little bit back to normal in this crazy world. But we're just going to have some fun because, boy, get your motor running. Well, that's your brain and that's hobbies. And I've been studying and I found some interesting things. So this is all about increasing your humidity if you live in a dry area. If you live somewhere like we live in the interior of British Columbia and we have cold winters and we have to fight a dry living in your home with you, not in a grow room, but right in your home with you. And you have to fight the fact that you have a heater on all winter. So you have dryness and not enough humidity. And in the summer here, you have extremely hot, dry, and probably not enough humidity. So we get up to 100 easily Fahrenheit in the summer, and many times over that. Now, this has been pouring rain last couple of weeks, even since I talked to you last. And I've had time to finish the project I was working on before, but I'm not showing you that today. And I had time to study. And I was trying to find new, innovative ways to increase humidity. And read a lot, like almost everywhere you read, use Pebble trays. Well, I did try Pebble trays years ago when I first started with my orchids and found them messy, and apparently there's been lots of tests done where they check humidity, and they found it didn't really increase the overall humidity in that area noticeably. However, it's better than nothing. So I went from Pebble trays to, I got the Cool Mist, Fogger, what do they call that thing? Ultrasonic Cool Misters. I love them. I've made fountain bowls with them, and yes, they do help. Someday we'll make one together, but this isn't about that. It greatly improved the humidity. And however, if I did try once I think it was a Sunbeam electric humidifier, but I found it pushed out too much warm air, which you do not want. So also make sure your orchids, when you're increasing humidity in the area, make sure that they are not wet when you go into a cool evening. I've been a little scared here. I make sure they're dry. I haven't been misting them for the last couple weeks because of all the rain. And our temperatures in this patio have been at night between 50 and 55 Fahrenheit. Now that is a little lower than they like, but I was not going to put them all back in the house again. And it has not bothered them. But 60 would be nice if, even 55, but it was right down at the bottom near 50, and it was pretty interesting. So let's talk about the pots first, and then I'll get into the big discovery I made. So pots that I have found in this type of area where you don't want your pots, especially because all I use basically is bark. So it will create lots of air, which they love, but it will dry out quicker. So what is a good pot to use when you have bark media? And what if I find they thrive in? Well, I started out with, now this is an orchid that last year when we were having the kitchen done, somehow, Maggie, it got knocked over. It was in a stand It was in a white stand, like this one. And it got knocked over, broke a leaf, and I had to cut a leaf off. And I put it in this pot because I know it's a beautiful, maybe nursing pot. What is it? I'm going to show you closer. This is a 1 gallon acrylic paint can. Now, it suffered because it lost one leaf and then this one had broke right off. So you can see where the handles were on the paint can. The acrylic paint cans, they Jack drilled holes in them, nice big holes, and at the bottom. And he took the metal rim and the handle off. I have been using these, and this is a nice new leaf. So happy. So I have been using these since I first started with my orchids, and got immense root growth. Now another thing, the plastic, it helps hold in the humidity. Now, it isn't clear, so we're not getting photosynthesis from those roots, which really isn't important because only 5 to 10% of the photosynthesis is coming from your roots. Most of it's coming from the leaves. The more leaves you have, the better. The healthier roots, the more leaves you're going to get. So, and another way to encourage roots. Now, if you can see in here already, I can't really see what I'm showing you. There's nice green roots. Tomorrow is my watering day. Tomorrow. Now, these roots in here are nice and dry. And if you find, we've had rain, but if it has been real dry, you're using these to help keep the humidity in. If you just miss the pot once a day, maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, don't go up real close and squirt in each hole. Just miss the outside of the pot. These roots know you're doing that, and it will encourage them to grow down, and grow out to wherever the moisture is. So this is a pot I've done very good with, and whenever I get a latex paint, and if you find it still too dry, if you drop this in a decorative pot, but still make sure there's airflow. You don't want it tight in a pot. You want airflow around the pot. You will actually add more humidity. Now, don't do this if you find you're looking like me. My roots are green inside the dry bark. So, I'll just put that there for a minute. Okay, and the dendrobium I have that flowered last year, and hopefully even more coming, it is also in a 1 gallon latex paint can. The holes are smaller. It's been in here quite a while, and this is the one that flowered, and I'm hoping to get more. I have them on the top, and they sit inside these pots here. They sit in these pots. It helps hold the humidity a little more. And so plastic, definitely, if you're worried about dryness, most of the time you're more dry than you are humid. Plastic does help. And also, when I use these traffic cones, I call them, the ones I've made, these are also rubber plastic cones, traffic cones. And there's lots of growth. They hold the humidity longer. As I say, watering day is tomorrow. And I've had good success with them. Now, if you get these, you can also put little holes and hang them. You can just watch for stands like I did whenever I'm at a garage sale or something. I always look for a stand that one may go in, because I will be getting more of these. I have a few. I have a small one. I have this one. We'll talk about that one in a minute. So, and I have a few that are still in the house. So, plastic, yes. Now, the other dendrobium, I've also had my orchids in them, is in just a plastic Tupperware. It is see-through. It's just what I had at the time. Actually, this is the one that flowered. I can see where the flowers were, not the other one. It looks pretty healthy. I have them at the top. So make use of your containers. If you're worried about the cost, this is how I started out. I made use of what I could find. So apparently they seem to like the tall, oblong, long rectangle type pots. So we did that. Now, just this Valentine's Day, that's what it was. Jack bought me the orchid from the top of the hill, and it was a big lip. Some call it Bigfoot, fowl. And I designed this standing container for it. And it has a plastic cone that I put in because this was only repotted in Valentine's Day. And of course, every time you change media, and I'm always saying this, every time you change media, your roots will, you will lose some, and they will grow new roots to go with the new media. And the roots that grow in bark are very hardy. They are not weak. They are very hardy roots, so it's worth the wait. And I want to show you what's happening since Valentine's Day. And this was repotted from moss to bark. This is a new leaf coming here. And new roots. New roots coming. It's doing really well. Now this leaf was always half broken off in there, and it is a little sad. And sometimes at first you'll find that some of because the roots are in shock from the way they were in the moss when you bought them. But the new ones are firm and hard. All the new leaves grow up very, very crisp and hard feeling once they get going. So that one is doing really well. So it goes there. That one is in plastic. It only has 2 side air holes, but it's a shorter pot. And I'm trying to, I missed into the holes of the funnel part because I want to see if I'm going to get those roots growing down, and it may take time. So, now, I also have these porcelain pots. And this one's getting a new root right now too, a new leaf. And I've had good success with them. However, the smaller you go with these, the quicker they're going to dry out. And because of the painted porcelain, we have our air circulation with smaller holes. But because of the glazed porcelain, it's not like a terracotta pot where there's no finish over it. And if you live in a real dry, real humid area, and you're worried about staying too moist, the terracotta pots are excellent because they breathe from the outside. They actually let out moisture from the pots quicker than all these other ones. And so in that type of area, you're probably going to look towards the terracotta pot. So I have tried these, but for me, in my drying conditions, I wasn't really happy with them. And now, I also did an experiment with the cocoa mat fiber and found they're doing excellent. It's the new leaves. These are the roots, and it's still just watering day tomorrow. So they seem quite happy, although I don't think, okay, I think they hold the humidity more than a porcelain pot, or more than a clay pot, but less than a porcelain pot. And they are doing really, really well, but I still prefer the plastic for this area. So I know some people, if you have a lot of orchids, you're going to have to stick to one size pot because it helps room. Now, when you do stick to one size pot and you have a lot, don't crowd them too close. Make sure they're drying off. A fan is one of the things that I have found has really helped is a fan. They love just a low setting, even a ceiling fan, to create like they're outside, and you know, it makes them feel good. So a fan is an excellent idea, especially in humid areas, especially because they're going to dry out quicker with a fan going. Plus, if your plants are crowded, you also need a fan so you don't go getting problems with rot or staying too close. Although being crowded together, mine are all in one area, it helps create its own macro mini environment, so the humidity, as they're all breathing, transpiring, they all help each other in this own area. They have their own little mini environmental area. Okay, now that we've talked about that, and I want to talk about what I discovered. So this is the project. Now this is an old plastic fountain. In fact, it hasn't even been in use. I got it at a garage sale, many years ago, and it leaked. And Jack took some black goo and he sealed up the holes so we won't have leaking problems. And I never painted it or anything. It's just how it was. And then, oh, just a minute, I have to get something. I'm starting at the bottom, but anyway, then I had these 3 metal leaf things, and they were all stuck to this stand. And inside there was this thing that I think you were supposed to put a tea light in there, but it was always crooked, and it never pleased me. I never liked it, but I keep things because I have a Tweety Bird phone, and when someone phones, Tweety Bird will tell me who it is. So just try and ignore that for a minute. Okay, so what I did, I had Jack cut those leaves off of that stand, and just with a piece of wire, I put them around the outside of this bird bath. Sorry, Tweety Bird. Okay. And then I did have these little iguanas. They're very light, and I've had them up there for a long time, and I put them there. So now you're going to say, well, what else am I going to do? Well, this is going to be the best humidity way. You can make it, you can design your own. But do you know in wine cellars what a lot of people will use so that the corks don't dry out? They would want to use something that they can rely on. And it isn't Pebble sitting in moist water all over. It's lava rock. So, this was on, due to the natural porosity of lava rocks can be used to regulate the humidity inside wine cellars. Thoroughly moisten your lava rocks before using them the first time, then place them in your wine cellar. Now, I bought these in the barbecue section. They're just permacoal lava rocks, and they're red. They are very dusty. I took them out by the hose, and I just rinsed and rinsed and rinsed until they came clean. I think something I wanted to show you just went off the table, and it's kind of like that meatball. It rolled on the floor and out of the door. Okay, we better keep that. So, you've got them, you've gone out and bought some, you've got them, and inside the bag, they are about this size and different structure. See the holes? Now I was going to use these in the bark, and if you're still having trouble with your bark being too dry, maybe a quarter of the size of these, you could break them down and put them in with your bark, because they will also add humidity, and they're not going to break down. And in places like Hawaii or other places where they're able to get volcanic rock easily, this is all they use, and they're perfectly fine. Here, I think I paid under $20 for that bag, but not much. So, I got the bag of lava rocks. Now, you can either spread them at the bottom of your wine cellar on the step, or along a drainage channel, which is highly recommended. Somewhere where they get wet, but the water's moving. Or you can put them in a special box designed for holding them. They need replaced in your wine cellar maybe every 3 years, depending on the size. But that's with moving water going over. I don't know how long they're going to last in my homemade fountain. And also, I went online and also found out that someone had a patent for making lava rock humidifiers for rooms. Decorative humidifiers are comprising of a water reservoir, a porous body, and pumping means for pumping water through the reservoir, through the porous body of the lava rock to increase overall humidity greatly in the area. And I kind of just printed it out, but they had all kinds of illustrations and drawings of what. These were the list of all their humidifier things they wanted and how they were going to plant them in. But this was in France, and apparently it was abandoned. I don't know why. So, I have this, and I'm just showing you because I thought, oh, I better show you before I do it, because now it's just a matter of putting. Now, we always pick up old little pumps, and they're not that expensive if you buy one. This is just a small pump. I tested out in the sink because it was old. I also had this hose laying around because when it's sitting on the bottom, I'm going to stack the lava rock around this. And I thought, well, what am I going to hold? Stay there this time. So this is just chicken wire formed into a basket. And the pump, you'll see it when it's not done, but not today. I'll put a picture on the community channel. So the pump will sit in there. The lava rock will be all around the pump. And then, at the top of the pump, this is like an old funnel. And the hose will hook on here, and it holds this marble. This is marble, and I want it to move from the water pressure. And I thought, well, if this heavy one doesn't move, I'll get a smaller one. You could even get a ball from the dollar store. So on top of the lava will be this, and the water will come out and go over the lava rocks. And it's going to go here so that I am increasing the humidity greatly, even more so than a lot of things, because the water is evaporating from so many little holes. Now I do have a regular fountain. A regular fountain is good also. It's better than standing water because it's moving. It's evaporating quicker. This is even proved better. So I will, you'll be seeing this in future videos. And it was my birthday on Friday. And you're not going to believe it. You know, with all this pandemic and everything, no thrift stores, still none open here. No garage sales, but you're not going to believe it. Saturday we went out for a little drive because it was my birthday. And I saw a garage sale sign. And they had a big sign saying they were practicing safe measures, garage sale. So, okay, we went, and you're not going to believe it. You're not. So anyway, I got this upholstery fabric. It probably sells for $20 to $30 a yard. And I got this huge bundle for $10. I have enough to upholster all this furniture, the dining room furniture, the kitchen. I have a lot. Now, I'm going to show you the big bundle first. It was in a big roll. It is beautiful. And it's very thick. And it's brand new. Now, I'll show you. Because it's so heavy, I'm going to show you. I think someone got it, tried to sew with it and couldn't, but I took sewing in school, so you can see they actually had unloaded it, but it's thick and it's just beautiful. For $10, I got all that. So I was happy. I got to do a garage sale on my birthday. It's not like I went to some big event or some expensive thing. We didn't even go out for dinner. In fact, I made my own birthday cake. But anyway, my daughter came over and we had a nice celebration. And alrighty, 7-2. Oh well. You know, enjoy each day while you got them. And I did. I had fun. And I also have fun and love my orchids. Just like Maggie, they're very important and they're living plants and we want them to thrive. So I'm hoping this will help you, and you can think of many ways to do this with lava rock. And you can also go on the internet, and I think I typed in lava rock and humidity for your home or for your plants. And you get all kinds of stuff, but if you keep kind of looking, you find some interesting things. And wine cellars does come up. So corks are very compressed, and it helps keep them moist. So this is better than the other standing waters, Pebble water. And because it's moving, it's also better. Now you can make a smaller one. It doesn't have to be big. I thought you could make a wall and have water. There's so many things you can do. Get your motor running. And thanks for joining me. And I'll give you a quick peek at how they're doing. The temperature's getting warm in this glassed-in room now. I'll be opening all the screens. But at night, it's been cold. But we're supposed to be getting some nice weather coming. So I'll be glad to see that. So I love you all, and I hope that you're happy and well. and we'll be around to garden our orchids for a long time. So just give you a quick peek before I sign off. I put the dendrobiums on the top. They get a little more light and much nicer than other years because we have this shade cloth that we had. I sewed up the square holes where the vents were on the greenhouse. That was interesting. And then it's been really nice here. It does not get so stifling hot. So this one, you just remember, tomorrow's watering day. And see? Nice new leaf coming. Of course, this is moving water, but still not. Now, if I should put some lava rock in here, and I just might do that, just add some lava rock around here. It'll be better than smooth pebbles. Smooth pebbles do not hold they hold water tension more than the rough lava rock. And water tension is stopping the evaporation process somewhat. So, yeah, so. Yeah, I think the reason I have so many green roots and health look is just the humidity has been much higher. It's 78 in here right now, and I'll be opening the windows. That's Moon Glow back here. She has a nice new leaf coming. It doesn't seem to have really hurt them too bad, but I was gnawing. I was a little nervous. Another new one, root coming. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay with our big lip, so that'll be really interesting. And there's my Cool Mist humidifier bowls, which still is moving water, and they're good. The one thing I found best is I can sit a plant on that top tray if I want. Oh, there's something else I wanted to show you. Remember, this is the mother plant that I cut the big root off of. It was huge. It was my oldest orchid. Now see, the roots are still green, but look at here. I think we're having a baby. I think we might be. And that's pretty exciting. And this is what Maggie's doing here. I'm just being happy.